in the morning.
Hello and welcome to the Reds Report, Barnsley FC's longest running podcast. Morning, Jack.
You heard that, didn't you? You heard
Yeah.
that, didn't you?
Yeah.
Exactly. You know exactly what she did, don't you?
Yeah.
Longest running podcast.
Unbelievable.
Proud to be part of the TalkSport network. So fans, my name is Carlo from the Watering. And to introduce you, my first guest did another 70-mile bike ride yesterday. Now, some say he just does it foot massages he gets after. However, his wife told me on Facebook today his toes reminder of spicy knickknacks. It's Ian Hope. Ian, how we doing?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
And yeah, not too bad, mate. And our second co-presenter. Now, lots of you think he's just gone for a week away for some well-deserved rest. We, however, heard he's looking for a cow to smuggle into Oakwell next season for his new movement, Moo Reds.
Moo Reds.
Steve Andrews. Steve, how we doing?
Only found sheep,
That'll work.
which is good on one hand, but it's not very good on the other hand, is it? No cows, only sheep.
Boys, despite the rallying cry from the club, people turning up, ex-players on social media getting behind the scenes, the lineup was unchanged, the tactics seems unchanged, and the mindset somewhat unchanged as well. A very poor evening, could we say, at Oakwell. And let's go through the goals. The first goal then was an attack for Bolton down our left-hand side. Ball from the fence straight into midfield. The quick 1-2, serves into the box, and the striker scores. Now, the interesting bit is that on the Sky commentary, they said, for 21 minutes, Bolton were lumping the ball forwards, not providing their strikers with any service. It sounded like he was commentating on Barnsley's season so far, Ian.
Yeah. I think the first goal, I don't think you could have. It was probably the only scrappy first half, I thought, and I think it was the only bit of decent quality that anybody put in that first half. I don't think you. I know Devaney bemoaned the fact that the ref wouldn't let Cole back on, but I don't know what Cole would have done anyway because he didn't do anything in the game anyway. So I just think that lad down the wing looked dangerous in the first half. He faded in the second, and I just don't think you could defend. I thought it was a really good goal. I don't think you could do much about it. No. I know you were saying about how the club built it up for Friday night, but it were poor when I got to the ground compared to last year. We had a less attendance than we had against Northampton. There were no fan zone. The Portaloos were locked. There was absolutely nothing. It felt like a pre-season friendly when I turned up. I mean, I know the fans made a bit of an atmosphere in the Pontian, but where's all that stuff on the seats that they had last year? It was flat.
Yeah,
but anyway, that's my bit on that. Yeah.
No, that's true. Steve, in regards to Cole, so Cole had an injury before and he was on the sideline. I was speaking to an ex-player after the match who was absolutely raving, saying, if they spent as much time, actually trying to defend something rather than demonstrating, it's a bit of a poor excuse, isn't it? Because if a player is off and the referee won't let him on, you just get on with it, don't you?
Well, you'd think so, wouldn't you? I mean, you see every match in Premier League, players go down and they're remonstrating with referee, wanting decisions, and yeah, probably in Premier League you'll get it. We're playing First Division. Do you know what I mean? And you get a little pushing back. Kane did it a couple of times, and you're not going to get anything. Referees play on, or they just don't play for that. It's no point playing for fouls, and that's all Cole did while he were on. Kept going down, hands up in air, and he got absolutely nothing. And to be fair, he deserved nothing.
No.
Yet again, he walked off. Admittedly, he got a lot of abuse when he walked off, when he was substituted. But show a bit of passion, show a bit of enthusiasm, show a bit of pride in shirt. And he didn't. But he wasn't the only one. There were other players on that field on Friday night that should never have got a shirt. And if they get a shirt on Tuesday, I mean, I was going to say it proves that Devaney's not man for the job. Devaney's not man for the job anyway.
No.
It's just a shit show from day one. It really is. The club's gone downhill this last season. We should have been building on what were a disappointing Wembley trip last year, and we've not. We've not built anything apart from spoilt players who think they're better than they actually are. Poor recruitment, poor manager, poor board.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing, like Ian says on Friday, to make it feel as though, all right, we've had a poor season. Playing
It's biggest
wise,
game at season, isn't it? Biggest game at season.
That's it. It's you look at position we're in, and you think anybody from outside. We've said it all season. False position. We're in that position through poor teams around us, not through fantastic football, because we haven't played fantastic football. Odd glimpses from players, but they've all gone back to type. Phillips has gone back to type. He's been shocking the last few games, and anybody who says any different, they must have their eyes shut. I just think that the club could have done so much just to try and build Friday night up. We knew we were on hiding to note against Bolton, but let's have stuff going on. We were bloody fire cannons. We could have fire cannons at side at pitch. We could have pointed them towards Bolton dugout just for a laugh. Do you know what I mean? There were nothing. There were no cows. There were no nothing. Disappointing.
And if you have cows and you have fire, we could have cheeseburgers with vegetarian options available as well.
Obviously,
absolutely.
With your 4 second pint.
It beats them chips at £2.50 when there's only about 10 chips in a carton.
Shocking, aren't they? I like that. You're like you last night, mate. Hey, after 8 pints.
So 1-0 down. Second goal then. A high ball down our right. Jordan Williams is chasing it. It's a weak header to Roberts. Sheeran is then fouled. Penalty 2-0. Should Williams be more no nonsense and just absolutely hoof it over the West End or into the away stand? Devaney said afterwards it was a bit of a mistake, but he says Jordan's been excellent all season, which I think we've decided is a bit bold of being very political towards the captain. But Steve, that's just so many, not exactly like that, but so many times we conceded because of our individual errors. We've not been played off the pitch. We're just gifting goals.
They were all our errors. They were all our errors. To be honest, goals we've conceded, most of them this season, have been down to our errors. And poor decisions. I think a lot of them is down to poor decision making. Jordan Williams was not great on Friday. Made a few mistakes, but that were definitely put it in Rose head. Yeah. Whatever, does something else. But he's trying to head it back. He's trying to go back towards his own goal. Why? Why would you even think about doing that?
Surely as a defender, you play for percentages, don't you? And
you do.
There's a time to put it in Rose head, and there's a time to pass it around the back.
Yeah. But somebody's going to say now, but he's not in his proper position, is he? He's a right wing back. He's a defender. Yeah. Whether he's right wing back, playing on left, and playing wherever, he's a defender.
And it's not the first time he's played there, is it?
He's done it for 200 odd games for us, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And it's still no different. It is still a poor decision, poor execution, and again leads to a goal. Yeah. You can't defend it. You can't defend it at all.
No, that cow would have done better with that ball. Yeah. Dealt with that.
Yeah.
Now, Devante Cole struggled throughout the match against Ricardo Santos, who in the air absolutely everything.
He was
immense. One of the best player on pitch, that lad. Yeah. One of the best players on pitch, definitely.
He
was immense.
But at his feet, he was very much no nonsense, and he'd clear it out. Yeah. Do you think we should have changed our attack maybe earlier, or made that substitution earlier?
Absolutely.
We should have changed our tactics in August, not on Friday night.
It just seems that everybody saw that when Santos had it at his feet, he just hoof it out. He's not one to play it out. He reminds me of Bambo Diaby, as in he's great in the air, but at his feet he's a lot less. And obviously then the substitution was made. 2 substitutions then combined for Barnsley. Grant supplies the ball, inch perfect pass to Cosgrove. He makes no mistake. And, we're all thinking of Ian because our hopes go up. See what I did? But it was never... We took charge for a little bit and you think, goal back, 2 substitutes. That tells me that game plan-wise, and it's interesting, it was Kane and Cole that both went off. They're replaced. Those two substitutes combined scored a goal. But that's quickly nullified then when a ball flies in straight from a corner. Now, lots of debate on social media. I want you all to take. My take is if there's a player in front of your keeper, then you put somebody else in front to be able to push him away or create some space for your keeper. I don't think personally that was a foul because you're allowed to stand there, aren't you? He's not doing anything. Your take on it, Ian? Go with you first.
Just going back, I thought there were people screaming in Pontyend at 60 odd minutes for Devaney to change something. He was just stood up. Nothing were happening, was it? We were just lumping high balls. And as soon as they made the two substitutions, I thought Conor Grant was superb. I mean, Cosgrove changed the game as well. Oh, hello. Cosgrove changed the game as well. But Grant did. I thought fair play to Grant. I thought he was superb. But like you say, for the third goal, whether you could argue there was fouls going on, again, that soft centre, what are we allowing a corner to go straight into the goal? And right at the end of the game, what on earth are we playing at? And that is, and this is my fear for Tuesday, is we've gifted teams goals, soft goals all season. We're going to need to score 4 or 5 on Tuesday if we want to go through, because we'll gift them another 1 or 2. You're not telling me we've kept 1 clean sheet in some like 19 games. You're not telling me we're keeping a clean sheet on Tuesday. No. So yeah, poor. Whether you think there's fouls or stuff going on, it's poor. There's no leadership in there. There's nobody taking control. For it to go right through, it was just pathetic.
It's the same old story, Steve. Again, isn't it? That. Especially from set pieces as well. I mean, Northampton, where they took a free kick inside their own area and they sort of scored from it. We have all talked about some players. Should Roberts have done better? Maybe got a player involved to get that player out from front of him. How do you see that? Because there was a lot of the Bolton press obviously saying absolutely fantastic corner. But you're going to have to look at some Barnsley players saying, where were you or who were helping the keeper or because everybody just watched it fly in, Steve.
I think first and foremost, I've seen a lot on Twitter this week since Friday about Roberts. First and foremost, you've got to look at how many points he's saved us this season. Mm-hmm. He's a very good keeper, but the last 4 or 5 games, he's been a little bit rocky, made a few errors. But for what he saved us, I think we can let him off that.
Yeah.
I think he should have been stronger for corner. I really do. If he'd have been a bit smarter, perhaps he could have turned it in his advantage and gone down. And then referee would have probably given it as a foul on keeper. But for me, you look at the Barnsley players that stood around him, and like a lot of games this season, they stood waiting for somebody else to do something. They stood watching each other. Are you going for it? Or shall I go for it? Or is he going to go for it? Maybe he'll go for it. Oh, it's in back at net. Yeah. And that's happened a few times, especially with set pieces. But that, to me, again, like Ian says, that's lack of organisation. And that's no leader on pitch.
Yeah.
And we've said it all season. I'm not going back over it. Williams is no leader. Not at all in any way, shape or form.
But what also, and my lad made a good point on Friday when we were sat there, what did they do in training all week? They were tactically going forward. It was lumping it. They didn't even look where they were lumping it half at time. And McAtee's going spare. What are they doing defensively? They've been training all season and they look like they've just come together from pre-season. What are they doing? What on earth?
That's your other argument about Kane, isn't it? What people will say. They'll say, oh, yeah, did you see that turn? And he knocked that 35-yard ball. But there were nobody running onto it. He's that far in front of other
there's no
players.
communication.
No, it's not that at all. It's because he ain't got a clue.
No.
He just knocks aimless balls. They were all just knocking.
They were.
You could see that defender was having game of his life on Friday. He were outstanding. No two ways about it. But we persisted with long ball up front. Now, let's be honest. Cole, I can't remember Cole heading many balls this season at all. McAtee doesn't head balls. McAtee runs onto balls that's on floor. So why are we not playing it on floor? Why are we insisting in knocking long balls, long diagonals? When we know it doesn't work. This is what I don't. It's the mentality.
Yeah. The success we got in that final part of the game when Cosgrove and Grant come on was putting it to the wings and fizzing it in and keeping it low. The goal came from that rather than lumping it. So it took the two subs to come off to sort of realise actually we need to change this up because they'll do this. They'll defend this all day long. With
How many times have we said, not just this season, a couple of seasons as well, you watch other teams when they attack, when they have a break, and they've got an out ball.
Yeah.
Wherever it is, it's an out ball to a player. And we've never had that. We haven't had it for a long time. You've got Cadden stood in Asda car park with nobody around him, like this.
Yeah.
And they turn the other way and pass it into 3 or 4 players.
Yeah. And the centre halves are guilty of that. They're guilty
of
that.
Is that because he's changed his aftershave? Or what is it? Or have they just had a big fallout?
Yeah.
The summer. Yeah. But he was stood, and it's not only game, he was in last game as well against Northampton. He was stood in acres of space just for that long ball. And they all think they can knock a 50-yard ball to feet. So go on then, knock a 50-yard ball to feet and geek Cadden. And it just was not happening. But that, to me, again, is back to poor organisation, poor decision-making.
And poor preparation in training, isn't it?
And Cadden is arguably the best crosser in the team. So you give it him 9 times out of 10, wouldn't you?
Well, you'd think so, wouldn't you?
Well, you think so.
Looking ahead then, a second leg, again, football it's all about personal opinions. It's just a formality. We have to face Bolton for another 90 minutes before they are confirmed as finalists for the playoff. Devaney said in the press today he thinks an early Reds goal is vital. It is. If we've not let goal, it'll be an own goal. If we've not let you in already. And then he says an early Reds goal is vital. However, we've not won in the last 7 games. We lost 5 of those. And we've only won twice in 13 games across the last 2 months. So if you're going to do what you've always done, you're going to get the same outcome. So logic tells me he needs to make changes. And not just, I'll play Cosgrove instead of Cole. Steve, go to you first. Is it time to throw the dice and maybe go back to like 4-4-2 with the extra defender at the back, use that width a little bit more? Is it too little, too late? Or how do you approach this? Because obviously there is still fans travelling. I mean, I've seen a few tickets for sale for people who are no longer bothered, but there is still fans travelling. And you're duty bound to put your best 11 out. Does that include a change of formation for you?
If I'll be brutally honest. I don't think he's got the intelligence to change formation. I don't think he's got anything that's going to change the style of football that we've played all season. Because on Friday night, you could have Devaney was stood there or Collins was stood there. There were no difference.
No.
Or very little. Yeah, I'd love to change stuff. There'd be 3 or 4 of them players wouldn't even be on bus.
No.
They'd be still in Barnsley or wherever they are. Don't care.
They'll be at the beach then, wouldn't they?
I would put some players in there that want to play for the shirt. And if that's Aidan Marsh, that's Aidan Marsh. If it's Theo Chapman, put some kids in. Play Jallow, whether he's ready or not. What have we got to lose? This is the thing. What have we got to lose? Because you looked at Jallow when he came on Friday. I'm not being funny. He couldn't care less. He looked as though he's had everything beaten out of him. Because he came on, did a bit of running, tried to have a bit of a dribble in midfield, lost ball a couple of times, then whistle went and it was finished. So he must be looking at that and thinking, God, I can go and play in Spain or I can go and play in Portugal where it's 23 degrees and I can play golf every afternoon. Why is he stopping him? It's absolute madness. But this is the club that's driving this after him. And it will happen to other players. We've got some good youngsters there that we've not utilised when some senior players have been a little under weather. They've been crap. And they need to be gone. And I think for Tuesday night, what have you got to lose? Devaney can only go up in anybody's estimation. He can't go any further down because we all think he's crap. So
the thing is,
give it a go.
You're right, Stephen. I think the thing is, we know that there needs to be a massive overhaul of the squad. We'll start on Tuesday, like you say. Grant and Cosgrove have got to start. You've got to keep Bolton thinking, keep them guessing. You can't go out and play the same pretty much formation in the same 11 that started, because they'll know how we play. Mix it up, make it different. Play players who want to play, who you might say, well, actually, next season you could have a shirt, so go out there and give it your best. Yeah, it needs to start now. Don't wait till after Tuesday. Start the revolution now.
Is there any signs that actually all this? I know we've talked about Bolt, we talked about recruitment, but I'm just so surprised that a team that just keeps losing, sacks their coach, and then plays those same players with a new interim head coach. Are decisions made deeper down into the club, do we think? Is it
Possibly.
maybe not his saying? Because I get what you're saying about Martin Devaney, but he's had a good schooling. He was very successful with the under-23s as a coach, especially as a man manager. Players like Jallo, like Mars, like Younger Nathan, they've all come through the ranks with Martin Devaney as their head coach. Do we think his hands are maybe tied by people higher up in the club telling him what to play or what not to play? I don't know. I was just bewildered, because I honestly thought we'll see something different. And it's Steve said earlier, if you put a blindfold on, it could have been anybody. It could have been Asbaghi, or Sean.
I'm still waiting for him for these shackles to come off that he suggested were going to come off before Northampton.
Yeah, that didn't happen either, did it?
No.
So go on then. I know you've mentioned a few, but you would say, do you Grant and Cole? Do you give them a rest or an early check-in on their flight or wherever they're going, and do you start Cosgrove and Grant? Just do you change the formation? Do you bring an extra defender in? If you're going to play 4-4-2, who are we going to put at the back? Because in fairness, you look down there and you think, I mean, McCart can come in, I suppose, but I'm looking at Steve's face, thinking, "Oh no, please God, don't." What do you do? Are his hands tied? Because you look at the bench, I think, how can I possibly change?
But that's his choice. That's his choice to pick what he puts on bench. If he looks at that bench and thinks, "Oh, I've not got anything to bring on," well, that's wrong bench then. Surely you should be picking different players if you want him to change a game. Which, let's face it, although he brought Cosgrove and Grant on, the players changed the game, not the change of formation or anything like that, because nothing else changed. Apart from they played it on floor down left-hand side, it came across, and then he scored. That's the only thing that changed. It was still like for like substitution. So if you want to change a game, pick something different on bench. Start in a different formation. Personally, I'd go 4-4-2. I know it's back to basics, but you've got your four in midfield. You've not got O'Keefe bombing up and down like an headless chicken. You've not got Williams in a position that he don't like. Do you know what I mean? Let's bring a bit of common sense into it then. It's his last game at season. We're not going to get through. We know we're not. But try something different. Who knows? It could get Devaney job. Daft as it sounds, you go over there and win 1-0, 2-0. All right, we might not get through. But it might be that style of football that Board will look at and say, hold on a minute, he might have a bit of something here. We might give him a chance. Yeah. I hope not, honestly. But we're back to opportunity.
Yeah.
Kane, Cole, Phillips, they all want contracts next season with other clubs. So play out your skin. But they don't. It's same shit week after week after week. And for me, they wouldn't even be on bus.
No. Yeah. The good thing is, if they're considering giving it to Devaney, he doesn't need a work permit, so that's another fiasco.
Always a bonus.
They can avoid.
Yeah. But they'll find two strikers that do need work permits, and we'll not get them while bloody January next year.
Well, it'll be what we think will be the last game for the Reds in full League One this season. We'll be back in League One. They've not changed me in the group chat yet for the TalkSport network thing. All the other ones have been moved up or down, but they've left me. So clearly,
we still got that red cross at side though that says adult content.
I can put it on, Steve, if you want. Don't you worry about that. Go on then, because we always do, so we have to do it this week. How do you see tomorrow night going? Away at Bolton, it's 3-1. It's half time, basically, isn't it? The Reds are losing 3-1. giving our record of having won twice across 13. Is the draw? Is it a draw best we can hope for? Can we win 3? Can we win 3-1 and then we draw and go to penalties? Or am I dreaming? And I should really open some windows to get some more air into the bedroom.
Yeah, I'm going another 3-1 loss.
It wouldn't surprise me, if we. I think we might. I think if he does start, well, I'm saying if he does start Cosgrove, there's no guarantee that he'll score because he's not being brilliant himself. But then again, he's not really had a run. Yeah. If he goes with same 11, I think we'll just get absolutely arseholed 3 or 4-0. I really do. I really do, because they're not interested. You looked at body language on Friday night for 2 or 3 of them, and you just thought, what have you even bothered getting changed for? You don't need a shower when you get back. Just put your clothes on and then get out to Eden's bar and go and get pissed up. I'll do that way. Anyway, not casting any aspersions there. Go out with a bang for me. Got to go out with a bang. Pick some players who want to play, and if we lose 10-0, so be it. Don't care.
No. On a final note, I think we'll lose. I don't even think we're going to score a goal. I'm going 2-0 Bolton. The only I can't even say nice. What was nice to see is that there were quite a few ex-players there on Friday. Set to the West End. Liam Kitching was there. Chris Morgan. Anybody remember him? He was.
That
was
one.
There. Yeah, that one.
I remember him. But Ian Hume remembers him. Oh, maybe you don't. I don't know.
No. Liam Kitchen, didn't Neerav say he wasn't being sold?
That's Julian Key's mate.
Yeah, that's one.
And then a week later he'd gone.
Yeah.
He's definitely not being sold in this window.
And it's again, and I know these people are in a no-win situation, but when Jacqueline Key,
they don't help themselves.
When she tweets, it's not over till it's over.
I saw the reply.
Yeah, and then hey, it is what it is. So
she went on a massive blocking spree after that.
Yeah, she did.
They set themselves up, don't they? They set themselves up. Don't say something when you know for a fact 10,000 Barnsley fans that have got common sense are going to look at it and go, "No, love, I'm sorry, I'm not having that." End the story, innit?
Well, when they say they fall in love with the town, it's the people that make the town. And Barnsley folk are very straightforward, to the point, no bullshit. They just tell you how it is. So when you say it's not over till it's over, and somebody put literally like, we never got started, never mind, it's not over. We never really got started, did we? Steve, you are away for the week. Will you
Can you tell? This is not my garden. Can't afford this.
Will you let us know if you need any more trailers for any of these cows that you're bringing back? Will you let us know? And we've had a few messages. When are you going live on your OnlyFans again? Because people want to know.
Week on Sunday.
Yeah.
Just after Songs of Praise.
Okay. Right. Okay. Is it the Vicar theme again?
I don't want to give away too much, but there's a couple of them involved that Ian's got. And there'll be some. I've been down to Aston. I've got a 250 litre drum of blue. A few toys.
Is that just for the boundary of the fence? Is that just for the boundary of the fence so it's not as painful?
Yes.
Ian,
the odd cow.
The odd cow.
Ian, obviously, you and myself, we're back at work tomorrow. What are you doing for the rest of this night? Well, it's sunny in Barnsley. It's clearly sunny where Steve is.
It's a bit of blue sky here. I've got to be towing the party line and doing a load of stuff in the garden today. So that'll be me.
Look on that dog's face. Look on that dog's face. That dog looks like I feel about matchup tomorrow night. Miserable little shit, innit? Give him a clout. Cheer up, dog. You're on telly.
I've got West Ham and Kurt Zouma vibes going up here. I don't want to. Things are probably finished as they started for Barnsley on Friday night. We hope we got you at least a little laugh and a bit of a lift in spirits, because if it can't happen on the pitch, then we try our best every week. Next week will be the last Reds report for this season, where we go through our annual player reports, and our team of the season. There might only be 1 or 2 players in it, but
That's
bear
only a
with us.
10-minute show, then, isn't it? That one. That won't take long.
You've been listening to the Reds Report with Ian, Steve, and Carlo, part of the TalkSport Fans Network. Steve, enjoy your week.
Thank you.
Steve, enjoy your week. Ian, don't work too hard. We'll be
Try
back
not.
next week.
Murray.